Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. We continue to share with you the hottest developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. We'll have the first week of the new year. But in this 1 week, the developers in the occupied territories seem to be on the agenda for a long time because the first week of 2023 was the week with the highest number of clashes and casualties. Since the beginning Cold War, the successful operations of the Ukrainian army inflicted heavy losses on the Russian occupiers. The war has intensified in the eastern and southern regions of Ukraine over the last few months. Russian troops focused on the fronts in these regions and launched attacks on Ukraine. But in the first week of the new year, everything turned upside down. Ukraine, which was in a defense position, switched to an offensive position in the first week of 2023. Ukraine established a great ITY in the war with simultaneous operations. Russian troops had to withdraw from many regions. As a result of these attacks, new developments continue to take place every moment in the Russia-Ukraine war. Let's examine these developments. In the first days of the new year, the Ukrainian General Staff made a statement. In this statement, it was stated that Russian invaders organized 18 airstrikes on Ukrainian territory. Everything changed after this statement. This statement was the harbinger of the Ukrainian army's attacks that will go down in history. It seems that Duke Plan had made extensive preparations for the new year. These secret preparations manifested themselves in the first days of the new year. Ukraine organized operations in almost all of the occupied territories within a week. First, let's talk about the activity in BMO. BMO is a very important city for Russia and Ukraine. Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, wants to occupy the city and head towards Lyman because Putin has the idea of spreading from Lyman to the interior of. But Ukraine, thanks to its successful intelligence services, is preventing Putin's plans before they are realized. A few weeks before the new year, Ukraine deployed Azov troops in the town of Bakhmut. These troops are deployed in special areas due to their combat experience and past successes. Deployment of Azov troops and Bakhmut elected with trouble of almost all of the Russian occupiers from the region. Russian soldiers and pro-Russian churches in Bakhmut suffered huge losses against the Ukrainian Azov troops. Russia is not getting its way in Kherson either. Ukrainian troops targeted the invaders in Kherson region with AR defense systems as a result of the successful operation of the Ukrainian Air Force. Russia lost its command centers, joint control point, ammunition depot, rocket and artillery systems, and personnel gathering areas. The Ukrainian army's recent offensive in the Zia region also dealt a major blow to the Russians. The Ukrainian army blew up Cairo's most important base in this region. Local sources made statements. After this operation, it was stated that Russia lost 200 to 300 soldiers in this. Another remarkable operation was carried out in the Zia region. On January 2, the Ukrainian army headed towards the city of Tomak in the Zia region. Russia lost 2 ammunition depots in Tomak, which was targeted with artillery and missile systems. After this attack, Russia also suffered many losses in the surrounding areas. It was stated that 10 military equipment belonging to Russian troops were destroyed in the Zia. And approximately 260 Russian soldiers were killed and wounded. Tons of Russian ammunition is thought to have been destroyed. Let us continue to report on the developments in the occupied territories. Let's look at the latest developments in the Crimea Peninsula, which has a strategic importance for both countries and the war. In recent days, there has been a movement on the Crimea and Putin, who has been making great efforts to seize Crimea, has been secretly sending troops to Seva on the Crimea Peninsula for the last few weeks. The Russian troops who also shipped to the ammunition depot in this region were not aware that they were being monitored by Ukrainian intelligence at all times. When the Russian troops and Seva completed their troop and ammunition deliveries, Ukraine went on the 2 Russian ammunition depots were successfully destroyed by Ukrainian Air Force missiles and drums. Russia lost thousands of tons of ammunition and hundreds of soldiers in this devastating attack. Let's take a look at the eastern region where Dever is raging. For the last few months, heavy fighting has been taking place in the eastern Ukrainian regions of Donkalu. One of Russia's biggest casualties is the city of Maka in Dona. The Ukrainian army organized a comprehensive operation in Maka. After the operation carried out on New Year's Eve, it became clear that preparations for this operation had been made for a long time. The Ukrainian army had placed missile and artillery systems and deployed military personnel in many regions for the attack on Maki. The operation was launched. And artillery systems hit the Russian base in Maka. The base in Maka was a very important base for Russian troops. It is said that the base averaged senior Russian commanders and about 700 Russian soldiers. In the basement of the base, there was a warehouse with tons of ammunition. After Ukraine's successful air operation, there were big explosions at the base. Smoke from the explosion filter Sake. On New Year's Eve, the Russian army lost its most important base on the Eastern Front. After analyzing Ukraine's successful operations in the first week of the new year, let us turn our perspective to Russia. When we focus on Russia in the wake of these losses, many questions will arise. What does Putin intend to do in the face of these losses? What do the Russian people think about hundreds of Russian soldiers dying every day? What is the attitude of the federal parliament towards these casualties? Let's give a general answer to these questions. The full world now knows that the Russian people as soldiers do not want to. The majority in parliament is also against the occupation. There are protests in the streets and heated debates in the parliament, but Putin is turning a blind eye to all this. Putin has only his own political career on his mind. Putin knows that if he gives up the occupation, his reputation will be ruined. But Putin does not realize that he is endangering his people in his country because of. The Russian leader is constantly trying different scenarios in order to stop his repression with heavy grind. Desperate Putin is issuing a decree of forced mobilization, making deals with mercenary companies asking for help from allies like Belarus and China, renewing its calls for negotiations and so on. Putin, who did not plan for these days at the beginning of the occupation, is now launching mindless and unplanned attacks. Former Russian intelligence officer Igor Kin said that Putin's attacks have no meaning and that he will gain nothing from them. He called Putin's unplanned and mindless attacks, stupid stubbornness. Putin really doesn't know what to do. What decisions do you think Putin will make in the new year? Have the US as the Ukrainian army is offensive in the first week of 2023? How will the war shape up in the coming days? We are curious about your continues to convey all developments regarding to Russia, Ukraine, war, with its accurate and unbiased news approach. Our news team includes experts, researchers, copywriters, graphic designers, and video editors. You can support our team and our work by clicking the super thank you button at the bottom of the video for all developments in war zones and daily news. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it useful, please comment and share the video for us. It will make our channel more known. See you in the following videos. Thank you very much.